Welcome in, folks. I'm Devin. That's Zane. This is Buffet Sports, and we're talking about the NFL draft, specifically the Combine, because it happened over the weekend. I think the only guy off of the Combine whose stock plummeted was Tez.
Yeah.
Tez was a 9. Tez was 9 in the receiver group. Ended up being...
And if you remember, during the Senior Bowl, he was skyrocketing. They're like, nobody can guard this guy. Nobody can cover this guy in the 1v1s.
Which, that's a thing, that's something to that, is like there's certain guys that routes on air just don't, like, it's not the same as pads. Like,
yeah.
Game speed, pads, hit me, don't hit me, you know.
Yeah, and his 40 for being 150 pounds, his 40 was not great. It was not good. We were expecting...
Not great is an understatement.
Yeah, it was definitely something else, for sure.
4'5" at 154
yeah.
and 5'9".
And I don't understand. Maybe it was just an off day for him, but I was gonna say how you kind of brought it up, talking about like, yeah, there's something to the fact that nobody could cover him. Is during this combine there was a couple of areas that I think he shined in that maybe it kind of saves his draft stock.
I don't know.
The first one is the 3-cone drill, which is it's basically how well you change directions. Running routes, basically, that's what it's simulating. So you go, you do a quick one, you do like a figure 8, come back, run back. He was first overall in that one. He went 6 with a 6.65. And then the 20-yard shuttle, he came in at a 4 seconds and 4.15, which was fourth. So in those quick change of direction areas, he shined. Kind of like, okay, nobody can cover him in a 1v1. So I think, yeah, his draft stock definitely did tank, but there's still a certain utilization for him because where he did test well is route running and separation. Just in those drills. Like obviously when we watched him, he had a couple of slips. A lot of guys had a couple of slips, but he didn't test well in any of those. But if somebody wants something very specific, like maybe a zig route or a drag route, and they need a guy who can get open every single time. I feel like Tez is still probably like a 6th-round pick, and you just utilize him in that sort of area because he's off the charts in that area. The 3-code drill, he was ahead of everyone else by 3 milliseconds, which is huge in the combine. So he blew everyone out of the water in that. It's such a surprise that his weight didn't benefit him in his top speed. It only benefited him. Well, it makes sense that it benefited him in changing direction, but I thought for sure he would at least be in the top 10 for 40s, like top 5 for 40s.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this Jack Dick Isaiah Bond, I'm going to run a 4.1, and then he ran like a 4.4.
Yeah,
like,
but he did get as this one said, he had the highest top speed out of everyone. It was probably just because, I don't know, he might have been a track guy with Xavier. They might have trained at the same place. He beat him in 100, so he got confident. Could have been something like that. But what was I going to say? I had a final closing point with Tez. Oh, yeah. It's crazy how it really isn't that big of a deal now, looking at this draft class and the draft class with Tank Dell, that Devontae Smith was 170 pounds.
Yeah, 154, 5'9".
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really
But
small.
that's what we gave... Like, Devontae was like, oh, he's too small.
Devontae won a Heisman.
I know.
That's the difference.
I know. But I'm saying it's crazy how, like, the size for wide receivers being a critic, it's kind of not really here anymore. The Xavier Worthy, Tank Dell, and then now Tez. Like, Tez is, I think that's, I don't know, that's being 150 playing in the NFL, that's pretty crazy. But I just thought it was funny that Devontae Smith got critiques for being 170. And then we have all these other guys in the league.
I don't know. There's, like, to me, I think there's a lot of guys that, like, there's always outliers. And so, like, there's certain things, like, there's outliers and then there's just doesn't work. And, like, it's hard in the moment to, like, tell the difference. But, like, it really is going to come down to Tez's pro day. And, I want to see in his pro day what 40 he runs. Because he needs to run a 40 in his pro day. That he absolutely has to.
Yeah.
There's no way you can walk out at 4.54.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
terrible. And that's going to be the decider because there's outliers in every position. Maybe his lightness doesn't benefit him in straight line speed, but it does in change of direction. That could be.
Which that's what we saw with the other drills. He was either first or he was fourth within those change of direction drills that he did. So one guy that, and this could all be like, this guy could be known. Everyone's like super high on him. I don't know. All I know is I watched this guy's combine. And I saw his physicals and I thought that guy's going to be good. that guy might jump up a couple of spots. And that was a guy named Isaac Tesla. Listen to these stats. 6'4", 214.
Well, what position does he play?
Wide receiver. 6'4", 214, 10-inch hands. First in the athletic score for the combine. You know where he's from? The mountains of Caucasus.
So where's he actually from?
He's a white boy. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
He's first in the combine as a white boy.
Oh.
And he was the guy that on those deep balls, his head was back for like a good 3 seconds and he still managed to find the ball and catch it. I think, and that's the hardest catch like to make in the NFL, I would say. Like just like
I don't know how many
head
guys are
straight
doing
back.
that though. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
a
guess
super. It's super
I guess it's
hard.
just kind of a flex, but you're not going to ever do that in the NFL.
Well, if it's a deep ball, you know, like those deep ball ones, because it just depends on where the quarterback is. A lot of the times it's like over a shoulder, but there are a couple where it might be a little.
Unless
bit
you're a
farther
tight end
back.
running a seam, I don't know.
It's still incredibly impressive. He had a 4.43, a 39 vert, a 10-foot 9-inch broad.
Yeah.
Super explosive. Hell of a year to be a white boy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I would say Isaac Tesla, if I had to put
So
money.
what school is he from?
He's from Iowa. No. He's from Arkansas, I want to say.
Okay.
Arkansas State. He'll pop up on here. His 20-yard shuttle, he was also first in. Yeah, he'll pop up. So he's like my sleeper. And maybe everybody knows about him. I don't. But I thought he was super impressive. And then Jimmy Horn Jr., he was another guy. He's out of Colorado. He's another guy that had a bad day. He got a bad grade in these skill drills.
Yeah.
But that's just because he had a couple trips and fumbles. And then on this one that we're watching, I forget what it's called, but he dropped the last ball. But I was really impressed.
The gauntlet.
Yeah, the gauntlet. What I was really impressed with Jimmy Horn.
I love this kid, Jaden Higgins.
Jaden Higgins.
Yes.
But what I was really impressed with Jimmy Horn on the gauntlet is the front half of his body looked like it was a Lego piece, and the bottom half was his actual body. Like his front side didn't move at all. Like, yeah, he drifted a little bit across the line, but the amount of body control that he showed, it's right here. We can just watch it. It's like boom, like the top half of his body like does not move, and yeah, and he dropped the ball, so that's why his score went down. I think for sure, he's gonna be on somebody's TA squad. If he does not get drafted, he's going to be on someone's OTA squad. They're going to try and give him a shot just because of that drill. And then the last guy was when we were watching the QBs throw the deep balls, and I was like, who the hell is that? That guy's fast. That guy's a burner. It looked like he was outrunning the camera. Jalen Noel out of Iowa State, 5'10", 194 pounds. Yeah, athletic score, he was third in the combine, a 4.39 40, 41.5-inch vert. Insane. 11 feet, 2-inch broad. Super explosive.
What was his fit frame?
5'10", 194. Super explosive, running a 4.39. And like when on that specific point when they're throwing the deep ball, it literally, he almost outran the flipping camera. That's how like fast he was in a get off. So those are my guys that popped off the screen for me. And I think if they go to the right place, and obviously I'm not choosing the guys that we know are going to be good, I'm trying to get some guys that, you know, we don't really know their names. But for sure, Isaac, I think Isaac is going to be a dog. And then Jalen, like the game speed of him running his route was just incredible watching that.
Jalen Higgins?
Noel.
Or Jalen Noel. Oh,
Jalen Noel.
Well, that's the other thing too is there's something to like guys looking good in a t-shirt and shorts, and there's something when you're in pads. Because there's a different like level of speed. There's a different like So like as everything within like the receivers, I kind of take, like I said, I want to see you run crispy routes.
Yeah.
I care if you catch the ball, but I don't really, because you've never caught balls from these guys.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I want you to run technically proficient routes with really good footwork, and I want to see really clean breaks, because that's what makes the difference in the NFL.
And with that being said, that was another reason why I put Jimmy Horn on here, is because he had one route that he ran that just, it looked like the best route of the combine. It was one of those corners where you it's not a regular corner route. You come in, you go down, and then you go back out for your corner. He ran it probably the fastest that I've seen out of these guys.
I wish they would have put the drag back in this doughboy. Was he like actually good? I need to look at his stats. Seth
104 career passing TDs, school record.
how many guys have come out of Memphis?
I don't know. I have Memphis dying. I think it's also they're giving people that were at a small school that did have exceptional seasons or careers at that school shots with these. Same thing with like Nick Nash. I don't know what school
He
he's
just doesn't.
from.
It's nothing to do with his school. I don't care. He just doesn't look like an NFL quarterback. He just looks like a 12-year-old. That's all I'm saying.
Like physically.
Yeah,
Okay.
he just looks like a doughboy. Like he doesn't look like there's Patrick Mahomes where you're like he's a little bit like tubby kind of, you know, like there's most quarterbacks are not jacked and ripped and all cut up and everything. Joe Milton and Will Levis are an exception. Jalen Hurts is an exception. Most guys look like Patrick Mahomes. That guy though looks like you know the 12-year-old that's just like sweaty all the time. Like he's just sweaty and sticky.
Yeah,
that's how he looks.
Like, oh, he smells sweet for some reason.
Yes.
You know, what is that smell, by the way? That like you know what I'm talking about. Like
From
some
under
dudes,
cheese.
yeah, some dudes like just smell like syrup all the
From
time.
under cheese, bro. That's what it is.
Really?
From under cheese, bro. Gotta be. But yeah, he just doesn't. It has
Well,
nothing to do with school
who really
years.
impressed you this combine? Who's somebody that you would?
You know, I only care about quarterbacks.
Yeah. Talk about your quarterbacks.
See, look at him. Just look at him. He looks smooth. Like everything around about him just looks smooth. He looks aerodynamic.
Yeah.
Like in the worst way. Like he does. You know what I mean?
He's a Ben Roethlisberger archetype.
Kind of.
Yeah. Sometimes you need a little big man.
Ben was skinny fat though. Will looks like Lego character.
Yeah. I
He
realize
looks so square.
It doesn't look like him.
No.
He got a
looks so
haircut,
square.
and then he's like, "I'm Superman now."
He looks square. Like from his shoulders to his hips, he's just square. Like he's a rectangle with arms.
Yeah.
Max Brosmer. Anyways, quarterbacks that stood out for me. I think Jackson had a great pro day.
Yeah.
Or not pro day. I think he had a great
best.
compound.
Yeah, I think he had the best.
I think Jackson he did a lot for me in terms of just like, there was some footwork stuff that I think he was kind of speeding up some of his drop, which
That's been the criticism.
they're college guys like that. The footwork is something that can be fixed, but otherwise, which we're gonna watch him throw right now. Look at that. That's just on a line. You can see that on a Sunday. That throw right there, you can see that happening on a Sunday. Now Quinn, great come up here. I get it. I get the processing part of Quinn that scouts don't like and that people are looking at his film and don't like. But watch this throw. It just looks. The reason I pulled up Josh Allen after is because I wanted to see, because I was trying to figure out who it is. Like physically, he looks kind of like Josh, like just in general, his face and facial hair, whatever. But he doesn't have the arm strength of Josh because he's 1 in a million.
Yeah.
But Quinn just looks natural coming out of his arm. Same thing with Dylan. I think those are the two most pure throwers of this because for some reason they don't want to put Tyler Show in any of these, and so I haven't been able to rewatch him. But Dylan Gabriel and I would say Dylan Gabriel.
Well, if we want to dive into Tyler, he's the second class, so we would have to skip.
Yeah, and we can, but I think the two that really showed the two big ones for me that improved their draft stock, in my opinion, are Quinn and Dylan. They looked like the two most natural passers. Jackson, you can tell that he just has a ton of reps. Like he's just very comfortable throwing the ball. But the other two are just more natural at it.
Well, and there wasn't a lot of criticism on Jackson. Jackson's been climbing up this whole entire time.
Yeah.
The only thing that could happen with Jackson is he would have fell, you know.
Yeah, I think Jackson just kind of held his place, but I think Dylan showed that Dylan reminds me a lot of the person he reminds me the most of. The comp that like I watch the combine, I just like, especially in the deep balls, Russell Wilson. And I know there's a little bit of the size thing there too, but the way that his deep ball comes out of his hand and the turnover that it's got reminds me a lot of Russell. There's not the same arm strength. No one in this class has great arm strength.
Yeah.
No one in this class has a rocket arm.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily need a rocket arm to play.
Then again, it's
to play
also
at the next
like
level.
fundamentals. Like with that one, like if you watch Jackson, like his footwork is one of his bigger criticisms, and you saw with that one, like he picks up his back foot before he gets the turn on it.
Now watch Quinn just throw this ball. Like look at the way it just comes out of his hand.
And this is the route. Look how fast that route was.
Look how comfortable that looks. It just looks natural. Like it doesn't look like he's having to try. Like everyone else in this is like, you can see they're like locked in. Quinn's kind of smiling. He's kind of not aloof in any way, but he's just kind of smiling, and he's kind of just like, I'm letting it fly.
Yeah, I would also say that I don't think he has as much velocity on his balls. They're kind of all floaters.
Kind of, but when in this specific throw, his touch, I think, makes up for the velocity. And that's the other thing. I don't think you need to have all this velocity in the NFL. A lot of it is placement. Like, if you can, if you know you don't have velocity on your ball, time and space. Brock Purdy does not have a lot of velocity on his ball, time and space. And so I think in the right offense, it can work. It's just the processing. Like, and that's something you're not going to get from the combine, because you're throwing routes on air.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that.
I prefer a QB that throws piss missiles. Like me personally.
Now, the number one guy that I think had the best combine, and that to me I don't get why no one else is like in it, like it likes him, or is just like why there's question marks about him, is Jaden Milroe. Like,
oh yeah,
I don't think he had. You really like a couple of his deep ball throws. I think they're okay. There's a couple that are his.
I like one.
Yeah, I think they're okay. I think there's a couple in there that are like.
The problem is he had like basically one perfect deep ball, and then just not even close to that. So he was very inconsistent with the deep ball.
I think he had two fine ones, but to me, again, we were talking about this off camera, but to me, I just don't think. Look at this up and down. Like, look at that.
Yeah, his up and
pace
down is great.
And it doesn't have velocity, but there's just good pace on the ball. Every ball he throws is just catchable. Like, none of his balls look hard to catch. But it looks like all of them have good pace. Anyways, with Jalen, I think that there's...
That was Quinn Ewers, by the way.
Yeah. I don't...
That's who we were watching.
Jalen Milroe, I don't get why he... Any time, it's so weird. We've seen time and time again quarterbacks who run work. And we still have this, like, he's a running back.
Yeah.
No, he's a quarterback with a piss missile.
Yeah.
Attached to his right shoulder. Like,
well, I'd say a piss missile, 2 piss missiles attached to his hips.
I would say he's got a hose in the short and intermediate. Jalen Milroe has a lot of velocity on his ball.
Oh yeah.
Just because you can't throw the ball long does not mean you don't have a hose. Like, he is, and that's just coming from, and that with Jalen Milroe, it's not a natural throwing strength. It's that I'm jocked.
Yeah.
And so I don't get. I wish he would have ran a 40, but I'm kind of glad he didn't. Because I think to his benefit, he's going to fall, and it's going to benefit him. He's going to end up with a team where there's not a lot of pressure, and he's able to just develop and actually become a good quarterback.
Here's what I'll say is, like, obviously the guys that you like, and I'm saying not like NFL players. I'm trying to, like, if you are somebody who's watching the combine and you have guys that you like, all right, imagine they all get drafted, and then now you have the guys that are just like, like you don't like them. Like you don't have a feeling about them. You should 100% Jalen Milroe is in the top of that category because of his other attributes.
Yeah, I think the other guy that obviously for some reason NFL doesn't care about him, but like Tyler Show is another one of those guys that, like, if for some reason everyone's gone and I just have to take a quarterback, like I'll take Tyler Show.
I would take Jalen over Tyler.
Yeah, I would too. The physicals.
Yeah, the physicals are just.
The physicals are there, but I mean, like, I think he's getting left out, and I think he's gonna. I don't know if he'll get. The problem is with Tyler Show, I don't know if he'll get the chance to start.
Yeah, well,
I just don't know where he'll end up, where he would have a chance at starting, unless it's like Carolina, because Bryce Young, something happens to Bryce.
Yeah, but who knows? You know. If Drew Bledsoe never, like, started playing bad or never got injured, you know, Tom Brady might not have seen the field. It could just happen that, all right, he has a game, and then he goes off, he shows what he's about. I mean, he's an incredible processor.
My point is, though, he's going to end up in a situation where, most likely he's going to end up in a situation where he's with one of these guys that's like he's going to end up with, like, a Baltimore, where, like, you're just not, like... You're just not going to see the field, buddy. Yeah. Like, that's my thing. I just don't know where he gets the opportunity. I don't know what bad team would pick him and give him an opportunity. To me, he ends up being a career backup just because he doesn't get the opportunity. But to your point, I mean, I guess anything could happen, but I just bet on the fact he's going to end up somewhere. Because the other thing is his age.
Yeah.
For some reason, we've got this thing where you hit 25 in the NFL and you're used. Like with him, I get it kind of because he's injury prone, but I don't know. If I had to, I'd say Jalen had the best combine. Like the best, I think, coming out and being like showing people that he's good. Jalen probably number one. I think Quinn had the second best combine in that aspect. Like he didn't jump off the page in any way, but I think a lot of people who are like, if we can just get this kid to like understand how to play quarterback, like read the field correctly, he could be really good.
Yeah.
Jackson didn't do anything to hurt himself. I don't think he did anything particular to help himself. So he's still the top of the second tier, I think. And then Dylan Gabriel, I think personally helped himself out a ton. I think there's some teams that out there that maybe have smaller quarterbacks already, or that have played with smaller quarterbacks and like in the past and have a formula that works. I mean, the other thing is he's like Bo on steroids, where he's had a ton of college starts. He's the all-time passing leader in NCAA history by like a wide margin in the books. Here he comes right now. Let's see, throw this. He didn't have any. That's probably his best one. He dropped it. So I mean, Dylan's a ready to go pro. He's kind of to me the same thing as Bo, where this is, you know what you're getting from him physically. He's not going to end up throwing the ball any deeper at any time soon. He's not going to put more pace on his ball anytime soon. You get what you get physically. What you're getting with Dylan Gabriel potentially is the ability to grow the processor. He's not as small as I thought. When I look at him, I don't see Kyler. I see Baker, like frame-wise. I kind of see Baker when he was coming out. Baker's put on some weight now, but I see a Baker frame to me, which he's a couple inches shorter. But I think the biggest losers of the quarterbacks, I think Will Howard did not have a good combine.
I agree.
He kind of had a Ty or a Tez combine.
Yeah, it really sucked. It really sucks that when you think of like who missed the most passes, you think of Will.
Yeah.
That really sucks, yeah.
Yeah, he did not have a good combine. Max Brosmer.
I really wanted him to.
I didn't realize this guy was like what he was, but he looked okay.
Here, I'll do I'll rank some. So if I'm just ranking on who I thought did the best, like you, I would go Jackson did the best. Jackson's my one. I'll go. This is going to be my hot take. I'll go Brady Cook, my two. I can't remember him like missing a ball. I thought he did. Maybe it's just the shock factor because I didn't know who he was, but I thought he looked way better, and it probably is just the shock factor that I didn't know who he was, and he came out and he threw a great ball. He didn't make many mistakes to my memory, so I'll put Brady Cook 2. I'll put Quinn 3, probably Dylan 4, and then Tyler would probably be like 2 or 3 if the latter half of his combine never existed, because he came out swinging and he wasn't missing a ball. So I'll probably put Tyler like my 5. And then
look at this come down. That looks exactly like Russell's ball.
Yeah. And then I'll agree with you. The guy who had the worst combine, even though like I wanted the opposite, I wanted him to have like the best combine, is Will Howard. I didn't think it was an impressive combine, which sucks to say because I'm a huge Will Howard fan. But if I were to rank based off of who did better than expected, Brady Cook. Again, it's just like personally, I didn't know who he was coming out. So Brady Cook, Tyler Show, Quinn Ewers. Actually, no. Let's put Dylan Gabriel's 2 for sure. Because there was huge questions with Dylan, and I think he kind of answered them.
What were your huge questions with Dylan?
His arm. That's everybody's questions with him, was his arm. Just passing in general.
Which I think is so weird. Like, I think, and maybe it's because my team drafted an Oregon quarterback, so like I just have faith. But like Oregon's offense, they throw the ball.
Yeah.
Like I get that it's like you're not getting the Jackson Dart Ole Miss. I'm going to throw the ball down the field every play. But hey, guess what? That's not what football is.
Yeah.
Surprise, that's not what football is. It's not just the deep ball. It's not Madden. So like Oregon throws the ball a lot, and there is something to being accurate and having a high completion percentage. And like I think it's kind of funny because I earlier today was watching Bo's highlights from Oregon, and everyone was talking about arm strength and like him not being able to push the ball down the field, and I'm like, I'm watching it back and I'm seeing him bomb like 60. Now, it's the highlight tape.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, again, surprise, in the NFL, you're not throwing a 60-yard bomb every game.
Mm-hmm.
How many did Patrick Mahomes throw this year?
Yes, I agree with you, but Patrick's on a different playing field than everybody else, you know.
No, but
you can't make that with Sam because Sam was throwing it deep. He was having those
Sam
big
Darnold?
ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam was bombing it.
But that's my point. Like, Patrick he's regarded as the best quarterback in the league, and he's not bombing it down the field every game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, his game is predicated on being able to beat everybody in the mid and the intermediate and short games because he's that much better than everybody.
I think just about any QB, you go to the right system with the right coaching, the right guys around you, you can be great.
Well, yeah, my point is just that it's like Patrick he had his time. Like, yeah, obviously you want the adaptability to be able to throw that deep ball, but you're getting maybe one or two of those like a game.
Yeah.
In the NFL, realistically, if you're not a team that's just like, we're just gonna fucking throw it. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're trying to play winning football,
yeah. If you're not the Chargers who want to get Johnston involved, like throwing the go route, you know.
Yeah, if you're a normal football team, you're probably not throwing that go ball all that much. Now, if the opportunity's there, do you want to know that your quarterback has the hose to do it? Of course, you do.
You kind of want to be.
But really, the 70-yard bomb, Anthony Richardson, doesn't work in the NFL. Joe Milton isn't probably going to get a shot. Mm-hmm. Will Levis, turnover prone. Like, there's something
even Josh Allen before this year, turnover prone.
Yes, there's something to having all that arm strength that kind of is a detriment because you're just like, I'm able to do like I can just make the throw.
Yeah, that's the big criticism with Jackson Dart is that he's just like raw and he needs to be able to like reel it in a bit and then he'll be fine. But I mean, if he can, kind of like what we saw Josh do, then like he's gonna be great. But
which is why I would rather bet on, like, if I have to take if I'm not a first round, if I'm not in dire need of a quarterback and I just need a guy who's either going to be a backup or I want a consummate pro that's going to come in and kind of have a bow thing where like I just know what I'm getting, you draft Dylan Gabriel. Because I think, like,
okay, so let's say Jackson, Shador, Cam get taken first, second round, and then third round down, you have all these quarterbacks. Who's your first guy?
Dylan. Yeah.
So it's not
which is a surprise for me. He did enough for me. Just like for me, it was less about his throwing. Like, I personally had no issues. Like, there was no part of me that was like, he's not gonna be able to throw the ball. It was more so for me just size. Like, Kyler Murray has a hose, and he's like 5'8", like 5'9".
Yeah, he's got a fastball. He's a pitcher.
Yeah. And so, like, to me, I was just like we talked about this, like, with throwing, there's just some guys that just have it, like, who can just throw the ball.
Yeah.
And I think if you're playing, especially in the college system, again, it's college and there's big windows, and I've said it myself a ton of times. But if you're the all-time passing leader, I don't care whether you've played 4 years or 6. If you're the all-time passing leader by a wide margin, it means something.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, most people say, if you can ball in college, even if you're not, like, there's D2 guys that get picked up, and everybody's like, what, they're playing D2 schools. Like, if you can ball, you can ball, and there's still a high probability that you can ball in the NFL.
Yeah, there's certain things. It's the same reason why, like, small school corners still are locked down, because it's like, you're still just
if you
good.
can lock down everyone, there's a good probability you can still lock down everyone. And even if you can't lock down everyone, then like you're still a good corner.
You're still a secondary corner, and that's the top, literally 1% of corners in the world. So I don't know. To me, Dylan is if you're in a Broncos situation, like if you're to me, he just fits straight into the Miami system. If I'm Miami and I want to take one more chance at this, but I want to reset my quarterback money. Like, if I'm a team that just wants to reset my quarterback money, but I think I have a roster that can compete for the playoffs right now, you draft Dylan Gabriel in the second round. I just think you can, because to me, it's Bo again.
Me personally, I think that's a little high, but
I think it's just Bo again. We said that everyone's saying the same thing about Bo last year. He's not that good. He's not going to be. I mean, looked pretty good to me this year.
Yeah, he did.
Like, besides being a Broncos fan, just like objectively, looked pretty good to me this year.
Yeah, it's objectively he played very well.
Yeah,
if you make the playoffs.
And to me, I just see the same thing again. Like, everything about him just looks polished. He just looks ready to go. Like,
I think we all get ahead of ourselves in thinking that we know, and then we just like chalk up Brock Purdy as like a one-time thing. We don't take into account any of that. Yeah. The only people that are going to be good are the guys that go in the first round. But that's not the case. There's plenty of, even though like we don't like the Cowboys, like Dak Prescott has played very well at the high level.
Yeah, he's a third or fourth rounder.
Yeah, third or fourth rounder.
Day 2 guy.
Yeah. So there's I think
there's tons of guys. Most quarterbacks are day 2 guys.
Yeah, it's not out of the ordinary to think, yes, I think this guy can be good, because nobody really knows.
I think his floor is like Derek Carr, and that's like a pretty good quarterback.
I don't think he's got the same arm as Derek.
I mean, yeah, I just floor meaning like what
he will be.
What could you be? Like, what do I expect? What
yeah.
If I draft Dylan Gabriel and I start him for 5 years, he's my starting quarterback. And this is after his rookie contract. So this is his second contract. I'm getting 5 years of Dylan Gabriel. In his first contract, he gave me enough to where I'm willing to give him a second contract. Now, what am I going to get out of him in his second contract? Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Like, and is it purgatory? Are you going to win like 8 to 10 games every year? Probably.
Yeah.
But
and it also
depends on how good your starting cast.
You have a Derek Carr, but at the same time, you could also build up a really good team.
Right. That's the other thing. It could also end up being like maybe he's Derek Carr, but maybe you have 49ers around Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Like that was last year, or maybe you have the Lions around Derek Carr. Like Jared Goff is not a physically imposing human being. Mm-hmm. His ball, he does not throw. He does not have a hose like where he's throwing absolute piss missiles. He's not throwing deep balls like it's nobody's business.
Yeah.
But he's got the best team in football around him, and he's that good. So I don't know if you're ready to go. If you're a team that's just like we're a quarterback who just can get the ball to our guys away from being a potential just playoff team, you draft Dylan Gabriel. If you're like Tennessee to me, if Tennessee trades down,
Arkansas, this is the guy, Arkansas.
Oh, okay. If Tennessee to me, like you guys, if you guys traded down and took someone at like 6 or 7, maybe it's like, I don't know who falls at 6 or 7, but like maybe Abdul Carter falls with his foot thing, but like whoever you guys trade down 6 or 7, and then you guys take Dylan Gabriel, like I think you guys would be pretty good.
First? In the first round?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, you trade down, take whoever you want in the first round, but then third round you take Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, let him and Will compete, see what's going on with that. Yeah, and I think also when it comes to these are college quarterbacks, they can only throw college balls, like dink and dump, basically. We saw it this season with the Commanders. They are implementing a lot of college play, like run pass options. So that could be the trend of the league, where we do now just try and make the quarterback that we get as comfortable as possible. Huh. We try and get him to throw the balls that he's been throwing instead of doing the opposite.
Sean did the same thing with Bo this year. Everyone was like, Bo's not going to work in this system, and like because it's all technical or whatever. And we were one of the highest RPO percentage running team, play running teams, and that's Bo literally lived and died out of the RPO at Oregon. There's maybe like 10 clips you can find out there in which he's either under center or he's not running an RPO.
And that's the thing is, if you get a guy like Dylan Gabriel who played the Oregon offense great, right? Because they went to the playoffs. Didn't they go undefeated?
I think so.
Yeah, they went undefeated. Like, if you change your offense to the Oregon system, like we've kind of seen a couple of other teams do, like he could then he'll be comfortable. And then if you get the same production in the NFL as you did with him in Oregon, I feel like that's great production.
I think also there's just something to like, we were talking about Shador and Cam because we're talking about wanting guys to compete, right?
Yeah.
There's also this, I brought this up with Shador. There's a maturity thing. There's an attitude thing. Guy's been in college for like 6 years. He knows what he's doing. He knows what it means to not throw his O lineman under the bus.
I can't do the Stenson Bennett thing anymore because I rewatched his tape and I'm like, he's really good.
Yeah.
So I can't even do the Stenson Bennett was old, because I think he's flipping crazy. Yeah. I forgot how good that guy is.
Yeah. To me, there's something to just being an adult. Mm-hmm. Like, there's just something to being a guy who's just knows when not to throw his guys under the bus, knows when to take accountability, knows how to be an adult in the meeting room, knows how to carry himself, knows how to show up for practice. When you've been in college and you've been playing college football for 6 years, you're a pro. You just are. You show up. You know what it takes to be good, and Dylan Gabriel knows what it takes to be good, and I just there's something to just having a guy who just knows what he's doing and is
Same
just
thing
going to
with
show up
Joe.
and work out every day.
Yeah, same thing with Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler's a little bit different because I don't know how much of when you get injured like that in college, how much of it are you still around the boys? You know, whereas in like obviously NBA and NFL, you might be around the facility less with an injury.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works in college, but I think if I want the highest floor, it's Dylan probably. I'm talking myself into like if I'm a mid-major team, like if I'm the Jets,
Yeah.
I would strongly consider him in the. He would look good in a Jets uni. He would look good in a Jets uni.
Yeah,
Dylan Gabriel, the
just change it
Jets.
around. So, who would you say is the most impressive wide receiver out of this class?
I like Higgins the most.
Higgins?
Yeah.
That's the guy who's specimen.
I think so.
That was the specimen.
There's Restrepo.
Yeah, obviously I like Restrepo, but Restrepo's just good.
Is that a chaw that he's got?
No, I think it is a...
Mouth guard?
I think it's a deformity.
Oh, really?
I think so. Because I've been just trying to watch him, and every time I see him, he has it. Yeah, for me, I think it's Jalen Noel or Isaac Tesla. Those are the guys that impress me. Obviously, the big names are gonna be great. I'm not saying that the big names are bad.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It is.
It is a deformity. Yeah. He's got big ears. Oh, it's gotten worse over time.
I wonder what it is.
I wonder if it's like something this year. Interesting. Oh, he looks fine here. What happened? I wonder if he got like punched or something. Oh, let's see. Forceps pinched his facial veins and caused swelling at birth. Became the talk of the town after a vascular malformation, a condition he had since birth. Huh. Interesting.
Jordan Watkins looked good as well.
Yeah, I want to know whoever it was who that one guy that I was trying to find out who it was who ran that terrible curl route. If you're doing anything before the combine, run some curls, man. You know they're gonna throw it at you. Run a couple curls, run a couple drags. Learn how to run one.
Yeah.
Because it was atrocious watching this. This is incredibly sloppy.
Well, it could just be it's not a normal route that a lot of these guys run.
It
is kind of like the base bones.
I don't care.
You got to give him a little bit of slack.
I don't care.
You've been playing college goes.
Okay, but you've been running. You've been playing football since you were 14 years. Since you were like seriously since you were 14 years old.
Yeah.
You don't know how to run a curl route.
They know how to run it. Maybe they just don't have the ability to stop on a dime like a slot wide receiver would.
But come on, we're like the cone is at the 20 and they're like at the 23. They're like that 9 feet of stopping space. That's a lot. And then being able to come back. Kyle McCord. I forgot about Kyle McCord.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys we forget about.
Kyle McCord. Okay, so that's the first group. Let's go by groups. This second group, Kyle McCord. He's another one. If you're scared off of, I think the same thing about Kyle McCord as I do Dylan Gabriel. If you're scared off of the physicals for Dylan Gabriel, where like my offensive line is not good enough to support Dylan Gabriel. Kyle McCord's your guy.
Kyle.
He's at a Q's, like that's for sure it. If Dart, Jalen, Ward, Shador are all gone, and you're like Dylan Gabriel or Kyle McCord, and you're like my tackles are the equivalents of Dumb and Dumber, I'm probably Kyle McCord because his physical profile's a bit bigger, a bit more safe to me. Here's Tyler Show. I like his thing. I think he's just gonna be a sleeper. I just don't know where he's gonna go to where he'll get an opportunity to shine. I think Kyle McCord has an opportunity. He might be good enough to land on like in Indiana. That's like you can see.
Yeah, Indiana has a weird thing where they have AR, but all of their backups are just the complete opposite of AR.
Yeah, and they're just better for the system.
Yeah.
Like they get in and they just ball.
Yeah, they actually just like throw the ball.
Yeah.
So I could see that.
So since we've got this jackass up on the screen, Shador, let's talk about how we feel about them.
You're mean tonight.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, these guys I don't love. Jimmy Horn's whatever, but Shador and Cam are just like, both of them are the epitome of just like what I hate. Like the athlete that I just dislike are those guys. If you just like, you're like just pick
one of your beers.
Yeah. Just like create the human being, the athlete that you just don't like, and it's those two.
But I feel like you're giving them a lot of hatred for something that everyone does.
What?
Everyone skips the combine.
Well, no.
All the
I'm talking about
QBs.
personality.
Yeah, well, I mean, personality. It's very. I don't know. At this point, it's just like normal. It's just who Shador is. Shador's been Shador.
Yeah, and I just don't think Shador is a pro style is a guy that you want in your locker room. I think he's a cancer.
You never know because we say the same thing with Nick, and then
Nick who?
Sirianni.
Nick's a goof.
Yeah, but it is
This
yeah,
poor
you remember
bastard.
that,
I don't
yeah.
know who that was, but that
Yeah.
rep was just overall there. He fell and then yeah, that was a terrible
He
rep.
smacked his head.
Yeah, dude, that was rough.
Yeah, but I feel like it's different because a group of guys can come together and like group around you if everyone hates you. Like the media, right? Like if the media hates you, everyone can like just come together and that be like their personality.
Yeah, but you don't hear about like that interview is the first time I've heard anything positive about Shador in like a teammate sense. Mm-hmm. The last 3 years of him being in the spotlight.
He did throw
His line under the bus. I
respect that.
I hated the whole roly shit whatever that he was doing with the watch and like at the game. That is lame to me. That whole thing was lame to me.
Yeah,
like,
but again, you could have a group of guys that there's an odd personality in the locker room that is a QB or a coach, and you kind of group around them because they're odd and because they get a lot of criticism.
No, but I think it's different with quarterbacks because
Could be.
there's a thing about like whether now you can still be goofy. I don't need you to be like I don't need you to be Tom
I'm
Brady.
saying goofy, but I'm using a nice word for like cringe.
No, it's not cringe. It's jackass. I think Shador's a jackass. It's not like goofy, cringe. Justin Herbert's cringe.
But
Everyone loves Justin. He's cringe though.
you're saying a lot of things. I don't know enough about Justin, but that wasn't something that I had attached to him.
Like he's a cringy human being. If you just go on their TikTok, like the Chargers TikTok, and you watch him just like be a human being, it's awkward. It's kind of cringy, but
we're getting off
But it's
topic.
goofy. but it's goofy, so it's likable.
Yeah.
With Shador, it just comes off as just like it comes off as the kid who's just never had to work for anything.
Here's a question. What would you say Johnny Manziel's personality was?
I think the same thing.
Yeah, because to me it was his personality. Obviously, I like him. Like he's got a great personality now. He's like changed a lot. But like at the time, it was very cocky. He was very much a jackass, but it was likable. And I feel like his teammates loved that he was a jackass
Because he was a team guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, we are better than you.
Yeah.
Not I'm better than you. Not I'm the best player here. The show's about me.
Yeah, I think Shador's. You can't be a nonchalant dreadhead at QB and run the show.
Yeah. Like if you're gonna be cocky, it's like I'm cocky and confident about my squad.
You have to be. If you're gonna be cocky, you have to be flashy, like Lamar, because Lamar is like the nonchalant. He's not a dreadhead. But
yeah.
Like
he's very a dreadhead.
Yeah, but he's very flashy,
and
he does like incredible. He like makes incredible plays. So if he ever is, which he's
but also in every interview, it's glory to God, hell yeah, my team.
Yeah.
But then he goes out and shows out. Shador, it's like,
but he's not a rah. I'm just trying to make a comparison that like they're both like not rah guys, but one guy it works, the other one it doesn't. Because I do agree with you. I don't know how a locker room really feels about him, to be fair, and I don't know if the locker rooms that he currently had been in liked him because they were Deion Sanders locker rooms.
Right, and that's the other thing too is I just don't see even in the media of him training with Cam Ward, Cam comes off to me as like I'm just gonna go out and do my thing. You know, like we're gonna go to senior day, we're training, whatever. Yeah. I'm just gonna do my thing. And Shador's like, I think I'm better than you, bro. I don't know. And it just comes off as like he's trying to convince himself he's better than everybody. That's what it comes off to me as. It's like I'm trying to convince myself, so I'm just gonna be an ass to everybody. Cam's kind of just a nonchalant. Cam is more of a nonchalant dreadhead, where he's just
he plays like one.
Yeah, he's just like I'm just gonna go out and play my game.
But I don't hate shit talking when it comes to.
I don't hate shit talking either. I'm a shit talker, but Shador doesn't come off as a shit talker to me.
What does he come off as?
He just comes off as a jackass. Like he just is trying to hurt your feelings. You know what I mean?
Trying to hurt your feelings.
No, but you know what I mean? Like he He's the kid that's like he's just talking shit to talk shit.
Okay. No matter what, I'm gonna try and have a positive, a positive version of what you're saying. I will say it. The positive way of looking at it is maybe he's just a little awkward, and he doesn't know how to talk shit. So then he comes off as like somebody who's like the way he talks shit comes off as.
But that's not gonna fly when you've got.
I agree.
That's not gonna fly when you've got 13-year vets.
Yeah, I agree, and that's the big question. Like, how's a 13-year vet gonna react?
Your 13-year-old vet linebacker, middle linebacker, who's like, oh,
yeah. How are the veterans of the team he goes to going to react to him?
Yeah,
you know, like how is that going to work out? It's a fair question to have when most of his football career his dad has been the coach.
Yeah,
you know, it's very different when you're going to a place where now it is different. Like maybe his dad is harder on him, like. With his words, but it's like with his actions though.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of different things. And maybe like Shador's used to the way that his dad gets on him, but maybe there's some old white guy who gets on him and he's not used to that. He doesn't like the way he's getting ripped.
Yeah, like if he goes to Dallas, like you having to deal with Jerry.
Yeah, like
versus your dad.
What if Jerry like comes in and like says
rips him a new asshole?
Yeah. And I don't think there's a single person who could get their asshole ripped by Jerry and not be frustrated.
I don't know. I think that
because for me, I feel like he would say something that like isn't true, and I'd be like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, but then that's the maturity thing of just being able to be like, okay, it's Jerry, like that's the owner. He like I don't know what you yelled at me. I'm a. You know, like if it's not legitimate, if Jerry leaves the room and Mike McCarthy goes, that's just Jerry, and you go okay, or if he goes, that's just Jerry, and you I hate it here, trade me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's the response I expect from Shador. Like any sign of criticism, not my fault, not me, hands up, not me, someone else.
We said a lot of the same things about Caleb. Caleb seems to be doing all right.
I don't think Caleb's out of the woods yet. I think Caleb got a free year. I think this is his like who is Caleb year, because now he's got.
He did say he didn't see what Jaden did better than him. So yeah, he did say that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are still flashes of the like. Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about. We were worried about his personality. Yeah. That's kind of it. Thought he did a really good job this year. That's not. Tom Brady doesn't say that. Like Tom Brady wouldn't say that. No. Like he wouldn't say, "Yeah, I thought I did really good."
Yeah, with that tone exactly too. Just like so not nonchalant, innocent. Just like I think I played good.
Yeah, I think I played good.
16 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I think I played good.
Yeah, he's not out of the woods for sure.
I think this is his year where I go where for me I go yes or no on his personality. Mm-hmm. I don't like Shador's personality. I think it's going to get him in trouble. I think it's going to be a quick in and out. I think that he does nothing spectacular. If his best trait to me is the fact that he does know how to deal with pressure, other than like the 3-step drop stuff that we or not 3-step, but the 3-man rush stuff we talked about.
Yeah. I think with what you said, he also knows how to deal with the pressure of like the media. Like that's something that's for a lot of QBs is new. They don't have as much. They have some, but they don't have as much as Shador has had. So I think that's possibly one of the main things that he has over everyone else.
Yeah, I think the question will be now, but that's the other thing too. How much of that is his dad being in his ear going, "We're in this together. You're going to take the heat because you're the quarterback." And he might still do the same thing, but it's definitely gonna be different because his dad's.
But he's had a long time of like, because his dad's like, you could say his dad is the reason why he can do it, or you can say his dad was training him.
Well, that's my point. Is we'll see.
Yeah.
Because there's a part of it that you go, yes, he has had a lot of opportunity to learn and grow under his dad of how to deal with the media, and maybe that shines through when he is not under him anymore, or it's a thing of I was only able to do it because.
You know what's funny is the second group for the comebacks, they put cones out to where you do a comeback and then you run to this cone.
Yeah.
They changed it. They're like, well, those curls were terrible, so now they put cones out.
Well, they had the you're talking about the cone to come back to? Yeah, they had that out there on the first group.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. I've only seen like 2 guys run a good
All right. Last thing, is there any other positions, any other players you want to talk about?
I said it before the combine happened, and I'd like my receipt. Hopefully it goes well, but like I think this is a generational running back class.
That's funny that you brought that up because that's my next segment.
Like I said it, and I
Yeah.
think I still believe it. Like everything.
I think you are right. I think you are 100% right. This was the fastest running back class of all time, which when you dive into it, most of these guys, there's a lot of these guys that are high up that only weigh 205. So it's kind of light when you're talking about running backs, but at the same time, like there were so many like
running backs are getting lighter and lighter.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to go through the running backs that I like. First one was, I don't know how to say his name, Bashal Tutin out of Virginia Tech.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how to say.
Yeah.
Bashal Tutin out of Virginia Tech. He had the fastest 40. He ran a 4.32. Almost a flipping. Yeah, a 4.32. Lightning speed. He's 5'9", 206. 9-inch hands.
That's a good frame.
9-inch hands.
That's a great frame.
I love me some 9-inch hands.
That's a great frame. Look at, I like that throw.
10-10 broad, 40 vert. Obviously, I think you just have to put him here.
40 vert.
Yeah, 40-inch vert.
And he's 5'9".
Yeah, you just have to put him here because of the speed. Like we've seen how Achane and how these speed running backs can just take over a game. Even Jahmyr Gibbs sometimes when he gets to the outside. So I think just having that elite speed definitely brought him up. The rest of his drills, they were all right. There was a couple of stumbles. Everybody has a couple of stumbles, but for sure he jumps up on the board just for being a flipping cannon, just shooting out. Actually, you know what? Here's the thing. You are right. This is a generational class because all of these guys performed incredibly well. They all looked incredibly great. And then even the guys who ran 4.5s, 4.6s, 4.7s, you throw them into the passing drills and they're flipping amazing. Like, who was it? Like Woody Parks. I think he ran a 4.5. He is like the best route runner. Like he ran better like routes than some of these guys. Like doing the angle routes. Like he has great hands. Like all of these flipping guys are so insane. And the areas that they are not great in, the other areas they are exceptional.
They have some sort of.
Yes. Like there's a guy out of South Carolina. You know, he's not that shifty, but he's ginormous. And he's fast. He has such great like downhill speed. You know, like they're all amazing. So I just want to say that going into this. The guys who I think might be sleepers. Here's the thing: is I don't know if Jordan James is a sleeper. Oregon's running back.
I think so.
You think he's a sleeper? So if I don't know, like maybe everybody's.
Let's
high.
put sleeper in perspective. Most people for most people, a sleeper is outside of the top 10 in your position group.
I don't know. I don't know if he's outside or if he's in, but.
I would say on most people's boards, he probably is outside of the top 10. I mean, we can look. Let's see.
Jordan he James. Didn't test his 40, I'm pretty sure. But when I was watching him, obviously the route running, the jukes, the catching, and then what really popped off was the quick feet. Mm-hmm. Like he just like that first little pop was the quickest out of everyone
he's
that
11.
I saw. 11.
So I wouldn't say he's a. Yeah. I wouldn't quite say he's a sleeper. He's a sleeper. He's outside.
What about Taj Brooks? That's my
out of
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Is he high up on everyone?
Let's see. I don't think so.
Because I was watching him. I really like him. Super quick feet. He had the fastest shuttle time out of the group.
Taj Brooks?
Yeah, Taj Brooks.
23.
Yeah, I really like Taj. I liked his build.
5'10", 230.
I liked the how he exploded going downfield. Obviously, fastest shuttle time. I believe Taj is like 215. I don't think he's one of them lighter backs. So
230 is what they got him listed here.
230?
230 is what they've got him listed here on ESPN.
Yeah. And
5'10", 230.
Taj, I don't think Taj ran that good of a 40, but at the same time, a not good 40 in years prior is still a great 40.
I mean, Saquon ran a 4.4 flat.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Like a 4.5's fine.
Especially if you're heavier back.
Yeah. Especially being 230.
Let's see.
I was really impressed watching Taj.
Taj Brooks, 4.52.
Yeah, 4.52 is fine. Like that truly is fine for
4.52 at 230. If he's true 230, they juiced him up. Either he lost weight for the combine or they juiced him up at college because they've got him listed at 5'9", 214 at the combine, and in his college frame listing was 5'10", 230. So they put an inch and 15 pounds on him at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
15's a lot.
Yeah, 15 is a lot.
Like I can if it was like 225.
It's beginning of the season, and then you go through your season where you're flipping
That's
running
true.
all the time.
That's true.
And then maybe you want to lose a little weight. So maybe he lost like a couple pounds for the
Probably
combine.
are losing a little bit of weight to be faster at the combine.
Yeah.
Just look ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, but I really like Taj, the best back in the class, just based off of the combine.
Yeti.
No tape involved. I want to make this very clear.
Yeti.
No tape, nothing. Just combine, because a lot of people say like the combine doesn't matter, like nobody really cares about the combine anymore. I'm making predictions only based on combine results. Quinshon Judkins should go in the first round. Juddy should go in the first round.
Yeah.
Listen to
His
this.
tape looked good.
Listen to this. So this guy's 221 pounds. Combine weight.
Okay.
Combine weight 221. 6 foot. He ran a 4.4840. Which put him, I think, like 7'6" in this incredible class. 11-foot broad jump, 38.5-inch vert. But here's where it actually comes in. His 10-yard on the 40, they record the 10-yard, was a 1.51, which is tied for second out of the entire class.
Okay.
So out of 10-yard exploding out of the break, he is tied for second against guys who are 205, guys who ran 4.32s. Like,
What did they have his height at?
6 foot.
Okay.
6 foot, 221. Running a 4.48. And there's a lot of guys that ran faster than him, like 4.4s, even 4.3s that are 205. Yeah. Like, you put on a 20-pound weight vest and see if you can run a 4.3 or if you'll be around 4.48. Like, I think Quinshon and obviously Scadaboo and then Genty didn't test. But so throwing those guys out, he is by far the most explosive back in this class.
At combine, he weighed in heavier at the combine.
He did.
On ESPN, he is listed 6 foot 219. So it's 2 pounds, but it's still, if you're coming into the combine heavier than your weight to start the year, that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought he ran good routes. He had a couple of drops. I don't think it matters. I think when it comes to running backs, the only time that catching the ball matters is if you are going to do a check down. If you have to think to yourself, will he catch it or not? That's the only time it matters. Like, if your quarterback is just like, yeah, take the check down, they don't even have to think about you catching it, it's fine. It's only if you have a real problem catching the ball that it ever matters. So I think he ran routes just fine. And the main thing was he was second overall in the athletic score. The guy who got first, Travion Henderson, which was the other Ohio State running back.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If you look at the side-by-side comparison, up until 30 yards, they're neck and neck. It is just the top out speed is where Henderson is faster than Judkins. Which, when you're talking about running backs, like, obviously top out speed is important. But how many times does a running back really get the top speed and really have to compete with safeties and corners to get a touchdown? It's pretty...
To me, it's more about it's less about what is your top speed, like overall in the open field, and more what is your tight window top speed. Because if you are going to be a lighter back, which neither of these guys are, well, Travion is the lighter of the two backs. The question is, how fast can you get up to how fast can you get to 90% of your top speed? Because your point where you're rarely getting up to your top speed, how fast can you get to 90 is the difference between running through someone's face, or not even running through someone's face, running through an arm tackle or not.
Yeah.
In a tight space, being able to glance off of one hit and then run through another arm tackle, and then you have the opportunity.
Yeah. And here's the thing with that is that Travion only pulled ahead at like the 30, so that means that it takes him longer to get to that. Quinshon's already at that speed. But his speed is slightly lower than Henderson's. Yeah. So me, like, watching his tape was his first cut, super fast, super instinct. You know, he wasn't when you watch these guys do these bag drills, sometimes they got to think. He didn't look like he had to think at all. It was just like he just moved, and then boom, just the exploding out of the cut downfield. He looked like the flipping Terminator running. Like,
yeah, I'd like to see his highlight reel again, because I'd like to see both of their highlight reels, and because there's runs in my head that I can see an Ohio State quarterback or running back making. I don't know which one it is. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, Henderson's more of the pass catching. And then obviously he's 220. I'm pretty sure Henderson weighed in at.
Well, you can tell me that, but like I still don't know.
202 is what he weighed in at.
Like you can tell me that, but I still don't know who's who.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying, like the same way.
To go back and
the same way I said that Brian Thompson Jr. his 40 was more impressive than Xavier because he was 212 pounds when he ran it. I think Quinshon's 40 is more impressive than Henderson's because he weighed 20 pounds heavier than Henderson, and they basically were the exact same, but one guy's 20 pounds heavier.
About 12.
No, he's 202.
Who is
Henderson? Henderson weighed in at the combine at 202, and Quinshon was 221, so 19. Yeah.
In the season, they weren't that far apart.
Yeah, but again, that's at the beginning before their season
Well, but that's
starts.
the thing that doesn't make sense, though, is because Judkins came in heavier after the season.
Yeah, it just could be diets. It just could be that, or maybe he wanted to be heavier because he is a power back. So being heavier is more enticing for the type of teams that he's trying to get looked at by.
Yeah.
So it could be that. Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah.
They on NFL.com they had him as a Joe Mixon archetype. I think that's pretty damn spot on. One cut back and then just go. We saw that a lot with Joe, and I don't know. I'm super high on him. Ever since watching his combine, I already liked both of their backs.
Has nothing to do with you having him in Madden, right?
Yeah, definitely not.
That has nothing to do with you having him on the Raiders.
Definitely not. But yeah, his combine was great. I really like how he ran routes. Everybody else kind of looped all of their routes. Me personally, I like a guy who cuts on their routes. So and that's what he was running, and then boom, put his foot in the ground and went. And it also depends on the system. A lot of people like those looping routes. They don't like quick cuts because it gets the guys fat to the line. It gets the guys to the out of bounds area, the sideline. It gets the guys to yeah, I know. It gets the guys to the sideline faster. It gives the QB less time to make the reads and get the ball to him. But everything about him I loved. And he's a power back, runs to contact, just like super explosive. I think he's going to be big in the next level. Me personally, just a feeling thing.
You know, something that doesn't get mentioned, and it makes a lot of sense to me because, I don't know, growing up, you don't really get, like, until you get into, like, you're older when you actually can, like, dissect something and take a look at it, whatever. You always wonder, like, why Alabama doesn't have good quarterbacks, like, why Georgia doesn't have good quarterbacks in the league, at least, you know, and stuff. And Colin put it just so simply for me, and it's so simple. It's very simple. Like, and he's talking about Will Howard, I think, in that particular clip that I'm mentioning. I could be wrong, but he's like, you want to know why there's never any good Ohio State quarterbacks? Because you're going to do a nice 3-step drop with a great O-line, and you're throwing to 5-star receivers.
Yeah, they don't get the experience as somebody who might be from Texas Tech, who might not have.
Or no, you know who he's talking about? He's talking about Shador. He was saying the one attribute he likes about Shador is the pressure management because he's like, that kid's been sacked so much, he's had to manufacture offense, and that's what you do in the NFL. And I don't disagree with that. But it is an interesting point as to why you don't get productive. Most quarterbacks in the league are not from those schools because everything is simple. It's all very easy for them. And I think that's something very interesting about Caleb. Like going back to guys that are already in the league, Caleb did have to manufacture a lot, which is why I think this year is going to be really important to see what he actually is.
Yeah, and I don't like taking away from those quarterbacks, but at the same time, it's like, it's true. Like, if the guys who play college, play high school in shittier systems with shittier teams get more experience than you do. Because it's just like they play. If me and you
beat every team by 50.
Yeah. If me and you both never played Madden before, ever. You start out on All Madden, I start out on Rookie, and we play Madden for 5 years like that. I'm playing on Rookie, you're playing on All Madden.
I'm going to beat your ass.
You're going to kill me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it is with these guys who have great systems. Is you are going to absolutely kill me because I am so used to throwing a deep ball to Justin Jefferson, and it's a touchdown 90% of the time on rookie mode.
Right. No, 100%. That's a great way to explain it to people who don't want to actually think about don't want to actually think about it. It's a great way to explain it is the Madden ratings.
And it's the same. it's one of those things when you could also argue that it kind of evens out because you're playing better competition when you're playing these teams. But
at the same time, it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, I'm playing better competition, but also if I might just be special with shit guys around me, I might be elevating worse guys. So
that's why a lot of guys who have gone to smaller schools, but then they show out versus a big team, that instantly, like, that's when draft comes, they talk about this guy in that game only. Because it's like, look what he had to deal with when he was playing against them.
Yeah.